Guitar geeks, amplifier aficionados, and purveyors of effects pedals. Today on the 7-minute mark, we're going to start a new series called Behind the Curtain. Behind the Curtain? Oh, well, what is Behind the Curtain? It's the music that I create, that I produce, and I engineer. I write it, the whole 9 yards. And the new song we're going to be doing here is called Razor Blade. And just to look at the screen for a minute, take a look at what we've got here. I want to go over things such as the DAW that I use, which is the DAW, the Digital Audio Workstation, the interface that I use, the type of plugins I use. We're going to take a look at the way I set up a session. For example, on the left, we see how I have the tracks. I've got the master track at the top. I've got a click track under that. You've got the drums. You've got the vocals. You've got the guitar, the bass, and everything else under the sun that I do here. And one of the things I'm going to go over is in detail. It's going to be like a 4-part series, probably on each song that I do. This is just an introductory video to kind of get you guys up to speed on what I'm trying to do here. And if we just take a quick look, just to kind of set the stage for what I'm going to be showing, I wanted you to notice how I color code things. On the left-hand side, we've got the drums are in a blue. I've got the purple type of color for the vocals. For the guitars, I've got the red there. Kind of like a mustard yellow for the solos and a green for the bass. I do that because it gets, when you're first looking at all these tracks, it kind of attracts your eye if you're concentrating on, let's say, the bass guitar, for example, and you want to find everything, pretty quickly. You look over and you see everything in a nice uniform color. It really helps. If it's monochromatic, it can get pretty crazy. And I'm going to explain the type of plugins I like to use. And let me just stress this too about recording. It's an art form. There's no right, there's no wrong. There are obviously things you may not want to do, and there's obviously things that you're going to want to do to get a good result in the end. But as far as everything else in between, it's really an art form. And what I'm going to show you is, how I kind of paint or create a tapestry of sound with what I know how to do. Starting out with the vocals is going to be the first installment. We're going to go and we're going to take a look at, how I approach vocals. What's the goal of the song? How many tracks am I using to build up a vocal sound? Within that, it's going to be what type of plugins am I going to use? The type of microphones I like to use. How I approach, singing at a microphone. It's an instrument. The voice is an instrument. How far close you place yourself in proximity to the mic. How loud you sing. There's different dynamics to a song, and the vocal is just another instrument. And I want to be able to kind of communicate that with you guys and have you understand like what that's all about. And then we're going to do an episode on the guitars, and we're going to include the bass guitar and the 6-string guitar. And it's going to be showing you how, what type of microphones I like to use, on the cabinets. How many times do I track the guitar? What type of plugins do I use? How far do I put the mics away from the grill cloth? Things like that. Type of amp heads I like to use, how I blend them. What my goal is when I'm recording a guitar, right down to the solo work. How I approach that, how I fit those in, how I build them up, how many times I duplicate tracks. Try to fatten it up, again, with plugins being used. What's my style? What's the way I take an artistic approach to it? And we're going to include the bass guitar as well. The bass is a great instrument. I play it. I use a 12-string, a Dean Rhapsody 12-string. It's a monster bass. It's just the kind of bass that's very difficult to play physically. It's a big neck on it. It's just huge, but it's got a great big sound. And on this particular song, Razor Blade, I actually played it through my PRS Archon 50. I used the clean channel. I went ahead and played through it, and it was a phenomenal sound. And it went through the Marshall cabinets, and I mic'd it up with a Shure Beta 57, and it's great. So I'm going to explain, all of that. And if you've been recording for a long time, I know you're going to learn something. If you've been recording for a day or two, you're going to learn something. I mean, I still learn today. I've been doing this quite a long time, and by no means have I learned everything. And I hope you guys contribute comments. I hope you have questions. I'm looking forward to learning on this journey as well, and it's going to be very cool. So until next time, when I release the first of probably 4 videos, I guess I'll see you guys on the other side. So again, just hit subscribe below. Let's grow this channel, and I look forward to jamming. Catch a tiger by the toe, then let it go. When you're dancing with the devil, you gotta pay. Painting by numbers doesn't seem to cut it anymore. You need an ace of spades tucked inside your sleeve. You spend your moments suspending time, back and forth on a razor blade. Subtle times in a storm we call life, few and far between they